What is going on, everybody? It is Mission here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 4 locations I hope make it into Star Wars Squadrons Campaign. Now, I don't know if Star Wars Squadrons Campaign is going to have any unique location aside from multiplayer or all the multiplayer maps we have currently, or just going to be also campaign maps. Now, if they are in the campaign maps, honestly, I have no right to complain. This game so far seems amazing. Lots of content seems to be coming, and it is all going to be for $40. So it's not even going to be a full-priced game. No right to complain, but if we were to get any unique locations, then I'm just going to list them right now. So starting off with number 1, this is the second Death Star. Now, the reason I want the second Death Star is this game actually takes place after the events of Episode 6 or after the destruction of the second Death Star. So if there was to be a prologue mission, then I would definitely appreciate it to be the Death Star 2, because of that amazing scene we got where the Millennium Falcon, a few X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, they were all just traveling down that little shaft into the Death Star's reactor. That would be a really fun mission, because it would be really fun if you had to make your way above the Death Star's surface. You got to avoid all these turbo lasers, the TIE fighters behind you. You just got to be dodging all this stuff. Then you got to go into the actual Death Star, and you have a very small space. So you have to be very careful on how to turn, and you have to be very careful because at like the next second, you might have just like object that's obstructing your way, so you got to make like some quick turn. That would be a really cool mission because it would have that intense element to it if you're playing on the Rebellion. And then you have to just try your hardest not to hit anything. You have to try your hardest not to get shot from the TIE fighters behind you. It would be very fun. And then just get into the Death Star's reactor, and then that would be really fun. If we were to have a mission like that, I would definitely appreciate it. It would be really cool if we had like a second Death Star, I guess you could say. Not really a trench run, but just like the attack on the Death Star 2. If we had that mission in Star Wars Squadrons, I'd be so happy. And I think most of you would probably be, I don't know. The second map, and this is already a confirmed multiplayer map, is the Nadiri Dockyards. And this isn't so much for, the map itself, but this is more for the story element related to the Starhawk ship, the Starhawk project. Basically, we really don't know a lot about the Starhawk ships. I know in Battlefront 2 they were briefly mentioned and we never even got to see them. But they are a pretty cool ship because they are basically, built from just dismantled Imperial Star Destroyers. So, it would be really cool. And like one of the main features of them is like their tractor beam. It's more powerful than like an Imperial Star Destroyer tractor beam. So yeah, we don't really see much of them. So, in the Nadiri Dockyards, they are working on the Starhawk project, so it'd be really cool just for the story element. I know the Starhawks were, present during the Battle of Jakku, and I think they even played a vital role in the battle. So it'd be kind of cool because you're playing in a mission that is quite important because, if the Imperials are going to Nadiri Dockyards, they probably want to destroy these ships and earn themselves a strategic victory, and the rebels probably want to defend them so they can use these Starhawk ships later down the line and gives them like a huge advantage of the Empire. So it'd be kind of cool to hear the story about these ships in Nadiri Dockyards. It would be kind of cool to know more about the Starhawk project through this game, and it would have a cool element when you're playing in the game and you know that protecting the ship if you're on the Rebellion or destroying them on the Empire is very important for your faction because it will give you a huge victory. While the map is probably going to make it into the campaign, I really hope we get a lot of story elements related to the Starhawk. And yeah, it would be kind of cool to see, how this mission would take place from the Empire's perspective, because I'm pretty sure they would kind of fail to take out the Starhawk project. But again, this ship is a very important ship to the New Republic, so if we can get some more backstory on it or we learn more about it through this mission, I would definitely be happy. Also, I really do like the Nadiri Dockyards because it's like a rebel shipyard, and mostly when I hear of shipyards, I always think of the Empire because they have the Fondor shipyards. Well, also the Starhawk was way bigger than I thought because if you watch the gameplay trailer, you could kind of see an MC-75 like in front of a Starhawk that was docked, and the size difference is like quite big. I believe these ships were supposed to be, similar in size to a Star Destroyer. I'm not 100% sure on that, but just all in all, I really hope we see this map and the story element for the Starhawk in the Squadrons campaign. And moving on to number 3, this one is a little bit of a stretch, but I hope we get it nonetheless, and it is Bespin. I mentioned this like a video or 2 videos ago. I was actually thinking about Bespin because it's just an amazing map to play on. I know Yavin Prime and Bespin are similar to each other because they're both gas giants, and on the Yavin Prime map you can actually fly in the clouds with the gas giant. And I hope we get a Bespin type of map for this. And the main thing I hope is that we can actually fight around Cloud City. So if you saw the Fighter Squadrons map from the 2015 Battlefront Bespin DLC, you could fight in front of Cloud City. I hope we can kind of get that aspect if we would ever get Bespin. Just fly around and near Cloud City would be so cool. And also, it would kind of make sense from a story point of view as well, because even after the destruction of the second Death Star, there was an Imperial presence on Bespin. I'm not sure if there were on Cloud City, but I know there was a presence on Bespin. So I hope that we kind of have a mission where we have to liberate Bespin for the Empire. Even in the Battlefront 2's campaign, you played on Bespin. I don't think you played on Cloud City. It was like some other station. But I just hope we can play on Bespin. It would be really cool to kind of like approach like one of these floating cities, and you have TIE fighters coming at you, and the rebels, they have a job of like liberating them from the Empire. So, but yeah, just seeing Bespin would be a map I would really, really like to see more because of the beauty. I know Yavin Prime is a gas giant. I'm not really so much looking to fight on a gas giant. So I'm more likely to fighting on Bespin, which is a gas giant. But I really would find it beautiful to play, first person, looking at, Cloud City or some other floating station above Bespin, and TIE fighters coming at you. That it would just be really fun to see that. And I also feel like the campaign story element would be really cool because you're trying to liberate the planet from the Imperial occupation. So really hope we see that. And moving on to number 4, this one is another map that I hope we get to see. It is Jakku, and again, relating the story, Jakku, I would really like to see, because it's like where the final like major battle between the Empire and the New Republic took place. And another cool thing would be, since Battlefront 2's last mission, or like second to last mission, took place on Jakku, so it would be kind of cool if you could see both stories like intersect here, have some conversation with Iden Versio, or like Dell, or just someone like that. Just having that intersection of the campaign. It would make a lot of sense because Jakku was kind of like everything had to be put into the battle. I think basically all of the Imperial Navy had to go there, and all of the New Republic Navy fought there. So having this all-out battle, throwing everything in, that would be so cool from like a starfighter perspective, where you have that feeling of how small you are and how big the battle is. You have like hundreds of ships in the atmosphere fighting, you know, and you have like thousands of starfighters fighting. You feel so small, but it would be kind of cool to see from a starfighter aspect on how that would work. Even if it doesn't take place in the atmosphere, like when we think the Battle of Jakku, you just see the battle take place in atmosphere. I'd really also appreciate it if we take it from space as well, because I believe there's also a battle not only in the atmosphere but in the space above it as well. So having a huge space battle above Jakku, where you have all these ships fighting, just everything, it's so much chaos, would be cool. It would be cool if we have like the intersecting elements again, from, like the Battlefront 2 campaign, and from like other Star Wars like canon material, I guess you could say. Would be really cool to see. If they were to make Jakku, I really hope they make like the scale so big of like all these capital ships fighting, all these starfighters fighting, and you're just one pilot with your squadron, and you gotta like do these missions while fighting like thousands of starfighters, like swarms of starfighters are coming at you, and you gotta like complete a mission or something, which is vital importance. It'd be really cool to see this kind of scale from like a starfighter's experience, because when you play the Battlefront 2 part of the campaign for Jakku, yes, you were in a starfighter, but you didn't really interact with like this huge part. You kind of felt like there was a barrier between like the mission you were playing and the rest of the kind of battle with like these capital ships and everything. So I hope like Squadrons kind of makes you feel that you're like really more a part of like this bigger element, or this the more wider battle, I guess you could say. I would really like to see that if we get Jakku. But that's really going to end it off. I know I only got 4 locations, but I don't think this campaign is actually going to be that long. So if we even get like 1 or 2 of these locations, I will be extremely grateful. And again, like I said, if none of these locations come, then I would still be happy, because this game looks like it's going to be great. If all the multiplayer locations were just to be in campaign and they don't have any unique campaign locations, I can't complain. This game looks like it's going to turn out amazing. Again, not even like the full $60. Please comment down below what map you would like to see in the campaign, if any, and tell me why as well. This has been Core Ambition. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Almost at 100 subscribers. But this is going to end the video, guys. Peace out.